Happy morning to all and all. So in the last class we discussing the torsion along with the spring concept. So due to that, how the spring will be failures. So based on these failures of spring, we can discuss the one case study. So we may know each other things, how the spring is made up of, and what the parameters to be incorporated with the spring. Then what causes to be that can be constrained about failures. So that's things we want to elaborate with the one of the case studies. Shall we go with you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello, myself Hamsavartan. With my friends, today we are going to discuss a case study on failures of springs. Springs are widely used in automobile suspension systems, machines and mechanical devices to store and release energy. However, springs sometimes fail due to excessive stress, fatigue, corrosion or poor design. In this case study, we look at a coil spring failure in automobile suspension system. Case study example: car suspension spring failure. Situation: a car owner noticed that an unusual noise while driving and the car tilting slightly on one side, then rough ride on uneven roads. So that after inspection, the mechanics found that the suspension coil spring had broken near at one end. Function of the spring: observe the shocks from road pumps, maintain vehicle height, improves road comfort. When the spring failed, the suspension system could observe shocks properly. Further will be continued by my friends.
I'm going to talk about the causes of springs failure. First one is the fatigue failure. The springs experience the repeated loading and unloading, and over time to small the cracks from. Finally, the springs fracture suddenly. And next is corrosion. The corrosion is mainly used in where the moisture, mud, and salt attack to their metal. And rust reduce the spring strength and also to carrying the load beyond the design limit. And the third one is overloading. The overloading basics the cause of excessive shear stress and carrying the load beyond the design limit. And also manufacturing defect also coming under this point to prove poor heat treatment and also surface imperfections also coming under their overloading concepts. And next is effect of spring failures. This is to reduce their shock absorption and vehicle imbalance and also damage the suspension component and also the risk of accidents. And further will be continued by Munshi.
Hello everyone, I am Mohan Singh from Mechanical Department. Today I am going to talk about failure of spring. Failure of springs is a common problem in the mechanical system, such as automobile suspension, machines, and industry equipment. Springs are designed to store and release energy when subjected to loads, but repeatedly loading and unloading can lead damage over time. One common case study in a failure of springs in a car suspension system. In this situation, the vehicle owner noticed unusual noise and rough driving while driving. After inspection, it was found that suspension spring had cracked near one end. The main reason of this failure was fatigue caused by continuous cycle and loading during driving. Small cracks developed in a spring material and gradually growed until the spring finally broke. Other factors such as corrosion due to moisture and overloading, the spring gradually broke up. And by improving the heat treatment and manufacturing also contribute to the spring failures. When a spring fails, it leads to poor shock absorption, vehicle imbalance, and damage to other mechanical compound.
So last but not the least, we are going to conclude the total case study. In conclusion, springs are very important machine elements used in automobile machine and many mechanical systems due to store and release energy. However, due to repeated loading, spring may fail mainly because of fatigue failure, corrosion, overloading and poor machinabilities. When a spring fails, it can lead to reduced performance, vibration problems and even accidents, essentially in systems like vehicle suspensions. Therefore, engineers must ensure proper design and correct material selection, good heat treatment and regular maintenance to increase the life of the spring. By understanding its causes of failures and applying preventing measures, the reliability and safety of mechanical system can be gradually increased and improved itself. Thus, spring failures helps engineers design stronger and more durability mechanical compounds in the future.
So in the present case study, each one should be contributing much more valuable points. So we can easily know the failures, how the spring to be become the failure cases. So in upcoming classes, we giving the practical session like that, damaged parts or original component to be exposed with our class students. So I'm very happy to share that you are all involved in this such kind of activity. So I'm grateful and thank you once again. Thank you.